the practice of automating the process of building and testing code changes. Every developer commit changes to the shared repository. What does it mean? Suppose we have only single repository, or
Right.
suppose we have one application like all service or shopping service. Okay, and there are multiple people are working on the same application, same GitHub repositories. Right?
Mhm.
They are
Right.
working from their own laptop, and now person one has done some changes, and person two has done some changes. Okay, now they have to merge that thing. Okay, they have to see these things, and for to automate this process, we have CI, means continuous integration. So suppose we have one service like suppose shopping service. As I said, okay. So and it is a Git repository, and person one, there are multiple people working on the same code base. Okay, so there is a person one and person two. They both are working on the same repository, which is shopping service. And now they want to see their changes. Okay, how we can integrate both of their changes in the Git repository using the Git pull thing, right? They can
Right.
create a Git pull request and they can merge those things, right? But we want to see all those changes on your live side, okay, or on your development side. Okay, so for that we use the CI model. For that, CI means continuous integration. So as soon as one person pushes their changes on the Git repository, the pipeline will trigger. It will take the changes from this person. It will build the image, test that particular changes, and will deploy the application on the particular environment. Most of the times we will have a multiple environment like uh, development, then there is staging, performance, and then production. Okay, so for the quick testing, we can use the CI pipeline. Okay, so CI means continuous integration. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Continuous integration means what I can say. Continuous integration is a practice to automating the process, right?
Yeah, automatic process, but which process? What is the process means?
Means testing, right?
Yeah, testing, building, all those things. Because suppose there are some major changes going on. Okay, and suppose there is a one service, and we are trying to suppose we have new feature like add person to the create a catalog for the shopping list. Okay, that is a huge service. Or suppose we have new application like communication hub, right? And we,
Right.
we want to test those changes in the new thing. Okay, but we cannot develop whole application in the single day, right? It will
Right.
be in multiple sprints. Okay, for each minor changes we have to deploy the application. Okay, we cannot directly push all the code at a one time. We have to push it for a single time. Like suppose we have small application like communication hub. Okay, and for that what we require, we have to add the first requirement is to add a persons. Okay, then create a chat window. So there will be, we will divide our service into multiple chunks, and in the sprint we can have the task. So whenever one person complete this task, okay, suppose developer one has committed his changes regarding to this add person thing. So at that time, what happens? The pipeline will trigger. It will test. So in the our repositories, we will have some test cases that will also run in the CI pipeline. Okay. So suppose there are unwanted changes. Okay, in that particular code, then we can easily find out. Okay, and if you think okay it is not okay, then you can easily disregard that PR, particular PR. So instead of wasting like whole 1 month, we can easily find out within like 1 or 2 days. Okay, so we will go with minor changes.
Okay.
So purpose of the CI is to catch errors and issues early as possible in the development cycle. So they can easily be fixed and quickly. They can easily fix and it is quicker process. Okay, so it means like our application is very huge. Like store the chatting things, create API for storing, create a API for storing chat info, archive the chat. Okay, suppose there are so many points, so many things we have to do. Okay, and suppose we cannot push all these changes in one go. Suppose we push all these changes in one go, what will be the issue? Issue will be there will be lot of bugs, right? and we cannot resolve all the bugs in one code. So it is very difficult to find out, okay, which thing has created this bug. So instead of this, we follow this pattern like sprint pattern. So in each sprint, we will have like we will take some one task or two tasks. We'll work on it. We'll push the change in the development environment, and once we push it, it will trigger a CI pipeline. And the purpose of CI pipeline is it will first test the changes. Means it will run unit test cases, then integration test cases. Then it will also, suppose we are also using SonarQube for code smells. Okay. Bugs. Okay. Once it is past these two things, then only it will create a Docker image.
Okay.
And once the image has been created, it will push to the storage, which is like Docker Hub or ECR.
Okay.
Or ECR, right? And once it means the doc image has been built, it means the test case has been passed. Also, there are very little code smells or bugs are there in your code, so we can directly take that things on the like next environment. Like for the QA testing, we can deploy those things on the QA environment. So do you have any idea about the other environments like staging for QA? Anything? Any idea?
I have a production environment ideas, U8 environment, like U8 is,
Right.
I think it's a like testing environment, right?
Yeah, UAT is like performance testing. So what happens? Suppose I am a developer and I want to test my changes. So what happens whenever I trigger whenever I commit my changes, it will trigger a CI pipeline, which will build all those things and it will deploy on the development environment. Okay, so I can, as a, as a developer, I can easily find my, I can see my changes and I can verify that okay, it is working from my end. Okay, so once you verify, you can push or deploy the same changes on the QA environment. So QA, what QA will do? QA will do manual testing or sanity testing. They will see, okay, the buttons are working or not, APIs or functionality is working or not. So once they think, okay, it is working fine, then there will be UAT or perf environment. Or perf environment. Here, what they will do? Here we will test performance. Like suppose we are hitting a lot of APIs. Is it working fine or not? If there is huge traffic, our code is able to handle the traffic or not. Okay, once it is past these things, then we will deploy this on the production. Okay, so this is the normal flow. Okay, so by default, whenever we do commit, it will deploy on development. And once developers think that okay, it is working fine, then QA or from DevOps people will deploy same thing on the QA, same changes, same features. Like suppose they are currently working on creating a chat window. Okay, so they will deploy same thing on the QA. What QA will do? It will do functional testing, manual testing, whatever it is they are doing. Okay, and if they give a go ahead, okay, if there are no bugs from their side, okay, they are thinking, okay, whatever changes done by the developer are good, then they will give a go ahead. Then we will deploy on the purple UAT. Okay, and here what you will do, you will do stress testing and load testing. Okay, once that is done, then we can deploy the same thing on the production. Okay, because we cannot deploy a small change on the production directly now, because there will be some bugs. Like suppose I added something, like I added something which will like reduce the some bank balance of some customer from by 100 or some amount. Okay, that is a dangerous thing. We have to test each and every changes. Even it is small, we have to test it. Okay, so that is why we have this multiple environments. Okay, got it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so CA means continuous integration. So when a developer do any commit, our CI pipeline will run, which will what it will do? It will first run the unit test cases. Okay. Once that is done, it will run SonarQube. If you have anything like that, SonarQube, then it will build the image. Once that is built, it can trigger a deployment job, which is a CD.
Okay.
So CD means continuous deployment. So if there any change in our Git repository, whatever the changes, they will be directly deployed on our sub environment. Okay, so continuous deployment. This thing. So CD means what it ensures that code changes are built, tested, and deployed automatically to reducing the time and effort required to release a new software version. So in earlier, we used to have like 2 or 3 months just to deploy small changes or deploy anything, okay, to release anything. But now because of the CI/CD practice, we can even deploy like yeah, within like 1 day also because we are using CI/CD and we are doing deployment of the small changes, not a entire application. But in earlier times, uh, when there was no CI/CD, what we used to do, we used to develop everything, all these 10 points, okay, and then we used to directly deploy all these things together on developed environment, okay. But because of the CI/CD, we are deploying small changes, so it is easy to find out the bugs, okay. So it is reducing our time to find out the bugs, and also it is reducing our time to for deployment, okay. So main advantage of the CI/CD is to we can easily find out the bugs or errors, and we are reducing the release time cycle. Got it, no?
Got it.
Yeah. So CI/CD are two different things. One is for the continuous integration, where our building of the image will happen. Suppose if we have Helm chart, also packaging of the Helm chart will happen here. And CD means continuous delivery. So suppose we have to deploy everything, this pipeline will trigger. And combination of this thing means CI/CD. Combination of this thing. Okay, so this thing is clear. Now, for CI things, we use multiple softwares. Okay, like for CI, suppose we want to do, we want to run some unit test cases. Okay, suppose our application is like Java application, and we want Maven. Then for that, we will want Maven, like for testing, right? And we want to build image. What we require? Docker, right? To build image. Now we want to find the code smells or bugs in our software earlier. Then for that we use SonarQube. And suppose we want to package our Helm charts for our deployment files. For that we use Helm chart. Okay. So we are going to use number of tools, okay, for CI/CD things to integrate all those things and automate all these things, means testing, building, SonarQube, and Helm chart. All these things. What we are going to use? We are going to use the Jenkins. Okay, so Jenkins provide lot of plugins for Maven, for Docker, for SonarQube to automate our task. Okay, so we don't have to do any manual process. For that, we use the Jenkins. So Jenkins is an open source automation tool which provides platform for CI and CD. And there are also new models, not new, but there are also one paid version available for the CloudBridge, which is CloudBridge Jenkins, which is for enterprises. Okay, but mostly people are using this thing, the open source model. Okay, if we are having like small environment, we are not having like, if our company is very large, suppose we have like multiple hundreds and 200s of environment, then for that we can use the CloudBridge Jenkins. So which comes in the large clusters. Okay, so that is a different thing. I think you should know that thing. Yeah. So let's go to intro to Jenkins. I think you already know how to install Jenkins.
Right.
Already documentation is there. You have to install Java and these things. Yeah. And next thing is to configure the SSH key. We have already seen this thing yesterday, right? So
Yes.
create a new key and add it to the GitHub, and then copy that public in GitHub and just create own credentials in the Jenkins. Okay. Right now.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Now, suppose you want to configure something on your Jenkins. Like we can like suppose you want to run only 2 jobs parallelly. How you can do it? So go to manage Jenkins, go to the configure system. Waiting time. Yeah, here you can see that some by default settings are there. So by default, all your data will be stored in the where-lib Jenkins. If you want to change this thing, then you have to update the Jenkins configuration file. Okay, but I recommended not to modify this thing.
Okay.
Okay, now system message. System message, like suppose we are like we have like a lot of people from different team, and we want to give them a message. So how we can do it? Like here, we can write something like commit your changes for this field EOD. So we can have it apply. Once you apply it, so here you can see that everybody can see this message. Okay, once they click on dashboard. Okay, so we can do this using this system message thing. Then, as I told, number of executors, how many jobs can run parallelly. Okay, for that you can use this. And there is a label thing. Like suppose we have multiple workers. Do you know about the worker thing in the Jenkins?
No.
Okay, okay. So by default, once you install the Jenkins now, so you are currently installing Jenkins master. Okay, so all your jobs will be running on this machine, but it is not recommended to use Jenkins master for all your application operations. Like if you want to run a CI pipelines, what you can do, you can create some workers. Okay, Jenkins workers, or generally you can call it slaves or nodes. Okay, so it is a simple process. So for that, what you have to do, you have to create a new any Ubuntu CentOS machine, and then go here, manage Jenkins, and then there is a manage nodes, this thing. So here you can see that currently we are using the master. Okay, so this is configuration of the master. Now we want to add a new node, which will be as a worker. So for that, you have to click on new node. Then you can give any name like worker1, create. Also click on create. Then currently I don't have any extra machine now, but tomorrow I guess I can. I will spin new machine and will add it as a worker. But currently I don't have it. So here we can configure all the parameters for that specific worker. Like suppose I want to run only 3 jobs on that worker at a time. Okay, so you can have that parameter here. And suppose you want to have some, so by default it will be where-lib Jenkins, the working directory for that particular worker. If you want to modify, you can just update this thing. Like I want to use opt worker / opt worker. Okay, so all your operation will be done here in this directory. And labels, like suppose you add like CI node labeled to this particular node. So what happens? Suppose you want to run a particular pipeline on the particular node. So for that, you can use this label. Like here we are giving CI node. I will show you once you create a job how to use this label. Okay. And these are other parameters, like if you want to change the custom working directory path, you can add it here. Okay. And to connect to this machine, what you have to do, where is the string? I guess I haven't installed that plugin, so because of that, this option is not coming. But I will give you the demo tomorrow about this thing. Okay, but are you getting what I'm saying about the node thing? Jenkins worker. What is
Yes.
use of it? Yeah. If you want to run a particular task on the particular worker, then you can spin up the worker. We can add it to the Jenkins. Okay. So because why
Means
do we
worker is a
explain?
different machine, right?
Right, exactly. It is a different machine. But why do we do it? Because already Jenkins master is doing what it is doing. The task of Jenkins master is to adding the jobs in the queue, then doing polling. Okay, lot of things here it is doing. Okay, so instead of giving load to this thing, we can spin up the new nodes and you can run task on that particular nodes. Okay, because it's already doing heavy load things now, adding
Right.
jobs and doing polling, all other things. Okay, so instead of doing all the operation of the master, we can spin up new worker and which can only run the particular task. Okay, that is why we use the node. Okay, this thing is where is yeah. So generally you will go to manage Jenkins, and if you want to do any settings, like if you want to install plugins, you can go here. If you want to add new credentials, you can go here. Oh, sorry, not here. It is for different thing here. Okay, and there are different things. Like suppose if you want to configure particular credential only for that particular node, you can do that as well. Okay, but currently we are not going to say it, but yes, you can do that. Just for your information, you can do that. And if you want to see other information, like suppose yeah, so what is your home directory of your master, what is language it is using, okay, username, password, all those things you can see here. What is the VM size, those things you can easily see here. Okay, but here you can see that our Java version is 11, our master OS is Ubuntu, all those things. What is the cache path, those things you can see here in system informations. Yeah, the Jenkins CL, I guess I will cover it within after some days. These two things I will cover after some days. They are mostly used for some automations or kill some jobs. Yeah, I guess we haven't added many plugins here, so that is why we don't see that option here. Okay. Yeah. So do we have any idea about the plugins? What is the plugins?
Yes, plugin. I know if I want to use Maven pipeline, then I need to
Right.
install the
Yeah.
Maven AWS.
So
Then I
Jenkins store a lot of plugins. So suppose if you want to install something, like suppose I want to improve this theme. You're currently seeing some black theme. So they have like dark theme. They also have material theme. So it is installing. Sometimes we require installation. Sometimes we don't require installation to plugin to be loaded. So it is restarting Jenkins. Okay, where were we? Yes, suppose suppose if you want to have some environment variable be globally configured, you can do this thing in the manage Jenkins configure system. You can add this environment variable, and you can use those things in your job. Okay, and the next thing is job type. So there are different types of jobs available in the Jenkins. Okay, like freestyle jobs, pipeline jobs, multi-branch pipeline job, matrix job, Maven job. So what is use of this thing? So it is a freestyle job is very basic type of job. Okay, and we cannot do a lot of customization here. Okay, just we have to do click thing, and we can create a job for it. Okay, the pipeline job is here we can add some like script in the Groovy language. Like you can create a scripted pipeline or declarative pipeline. There are two types of thing. Mainly in the interview they will ask you what is a scripted pipeline and what is the declarative pipeline. Okay, so there are two ways we are going to learn that as well. And there is a multi-branch pipeline jobs. So what is multi-branch pipeline job? So mainly if you create any jobs, okay, so that will be particular to only one branch. Okay, but suppose if you want to create different jobs for all the branches in your GitHub repository, then for that we are going to use a multi-branch pipeline job. Okay, and yeah, these other jobs we are not going to use. Okay, mostly people will use these things, multi-level pipeline job or pipeline jobs. These two are very important things. I will show you. I don't know why it is very slow. So you have some idea about the freestyle job, right?
Right.
Yeah. Right. It's taking this much time. Can you give your Jenkins thing? I think I'm having some issue with my machine.
Okay, let me start my machine.
Or is it a speed issue? Let me test my speed.
Let me.
I guess it is speed issue. I guess it is. It was working fine earlier. I think after it started working. It is up and running. What is the issue?
Let me.
Okay, I guess it is consumed all of the memory because of that. Generally, it will not do this. Some memory issue is there. Something from Europe is taking SSD. Again, if you're taking 38%, what is this other thing taking? Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah.
I have restarted my machines.
I guess there is a issue.
I will share you the IP address and the user ID and password. Wait a minute. My machine is coming up. It's in a slide stage. Okay, now it's working. So I am giving you the IP address is 552.66
52.66.
dot 206
52.66.206.
dot 141 colon 8080.
Sure, you're working fine. Don't notice issue with my machine. What is the size of your machine?
Machine but T2 micro only.
Okay. For me, it's also same. Okay. Okay. Oh, maybe the problem is okay. Okay. So you can see my screen now.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Now we are going to create a new freestyle job. So click here. Freestyle. Yeah. So discard old builds. It means like whenever we click on build now, it will create a builds, right? And if you want to remove all the older builds, like 7 days old or some 10 days back builds, then you can use this particular option, discard old builds.
Mhm.
Okay. So here you can see, like if you want to keep only like 3 builds, I'm going to give it option like 3. Okay. Then advanced. So these things, but yeah, exit concurrent. Yeah, so we are not going to go with the git now. We are going to create a simple job.
Okay.
Okay, and there are multiple options to trigger jobs. Either you can build or trigger it periodically, or using some GitHub hook, or after like particular time. Okay, you can schedule the job. You know about the cron job in the Linux, right?
Right, right.
Same thing like Linux. We can create some cron job cron pipelines here. Here you can click on poll ACM, and if you want to trigger after like 2 minutes, you can give it. There is also help command is there. Yeah, like here they are giving it. If you want to trigger every 15 minutes, you can give this thing, and then this thing will trigger after every 15 minutes. Okay. And yeah, so suppose if you want to trigger it after some particular project is built, then you can use this trigger. Okay, so here you can see they are asking for some projects. Okay, so suppose we have multiple projects and we want to run this thing after a particular pipeline has been succeed or something, because there are the multiple stages of the pipeline, like it is succeeded, it is not succeeded, it is failed, it is avoided, something like that. So depending upon the particular pipeline condition, we can trigger this job. So here you can see there are multiple options now. Are this means suppose if you want to trigger these jobs after one pipeline has been successfully completed, then use this thing. If you want to trigger this only if some pipeline has been failed, then use this.
Okay.
And suppose if you want to trigger this job from the remote, suppose using some script you want to trigger this job, that is also possible. Okay, you can use anything, like you can use the bash script, you can use the Python, you can use anything. Any script you can use, and using that you can trigger this thing. So for that, it requires some authentication token. Here you are seeing now Jenkins URL, job, restyle, build, and there is a token. So using this thing, you can trigger this particular jobs. So you got it now. So there are multiple ways to trigger jobs.
Right.
And this thing is delete workspace before build starts. I will show you what is meaning of this thing. And suppose if you want to use particular files in your pipeline, then you can use this thing like some secret. Okay. So we are also going to show this thing once we create a new jobs. So add timestamp to console output. So as you have seen, if you see our jobs output, like go to hello world. Okay, it is not built yet. Why it is not showing the builds? Can you see the builds? Why it is not showing build? Should show the builds. Generally, it should show the builds here. Okay, in this menu. Don't know why it's not showing. Okay, but here you can see that our build result is here. If you click here, console output, so we don't have anything here. Okay, we'll show you what is mean by this thing. Okay, so if you want to terminate a build, if it is stuck for like particular time, you can use this thing. And there is a build step. So you are going to use this thing to create your automation. Okay, so here are two steps. Like suppose if your application is like Windows, if your node is worker thing, you can use the PowerShell, okay, or Bash script to run your automation. If your worker is like Unix, then you can use the shell. So currently I have selected the shell, and if you want to run like echo command, then if you want to echo home thing, let's see what is the output. Jenkins home. What is the ls and pwd? And post build action means after this thing. Suppose after running these jobs, if you want to send some emails, okay, or some other operation, you can use create this using this particular option. Okay, so here you can see that there are multiple options. Like suppose if you want to delete the workspace of that job after this job is completed, if you want to send build status to the GitHub, if you want to send an email, okay, or publish a Java doc, or if you want to publish a JUnit result or build other projects, okay, this kind of thing if you want to do, you can use this option. So now I'm going to say apply and save. Now I'm going to build. Okay, now I don't know why it is coming here generally. Okay, so if you see the console, not credential entry with ID. Yeah. So by mistakenly we have selected this thing, okay, but we forgot to uncheck it. So because of that, it was trying to see some uh, it was trying to fetch some credentials. Okay, now apply, save. Now click on build. So last build, go to console output. Here you can see that our command output is here, like echo varlib Jenkins. Here we are doing echo home, right? And we are getting this output. Okay, so home will be varlib Jenkins. So in one tab I will show you what is our job. Go to configure. So here you can see that we have run echo Jenkins home ls and pwd. This command we have run, and what output we are getting? We are getting varlib Jenkins. So it means this home variable is set to this particular path. Same thing for Jenkins home. If you echo Jenkins home, it is output is this thing varlib Jenkins. If you do ls, I guess it doesn't contain anything. Because of that, the output is empty. But for the pwd, we are getting this particular folder path. Okay, now let's go to the Jenkins machine. Okay, I guess I don't have credentials for your machine. Okay, but I will show you for mine. Okay, so if you go to Warlib Jenkins now, Warlib Jenkins, here you can see that this is the home of the your Jenkins. Whatever configuration, whatever things you are doing, all things will be recorded here. Okay, so suppose you are creating some users, it will be stored in this particular folder. If you do ls users, you can see. So my user is Tech Academy. Because of that, here I have this particular folder. If you do cat users user.xml, here you can see that username and its folder. Okay, whatever content, whatever things done by this particular user will be logged in here in this particular folder. You do a users. Here also there is a config file. Okay, but you got it now. Whatever you are doing, it will be in the particular folders. All your secrets will be stored in this particular folder, and all will be encrypted. So secrets. So all the secrets will be stored here, but all are encrypted. So you don't have to worry if this thing. But this is encrypted using this master key. If this thing is compromised, then your secrets are not safe. So don't copy these things in any of the public forums. These three files, basically this one thing, this thing, and this thing. Using these three files, it encrypts and decrypts your secrets. Now, if you go to the plugin directory, you can see that all your plugins, whatever plugins are currently installed, they will be downloaded here in this particular folder. Like here you can see that git thing, font, display, dark theme, which I downloaded. Now, if you created added new worker, then those configuration will be stored in this nodes folder. And if you want to see the logs, Jenkins, you can go to the logs folder. Okay, here you can see the logs, like all the period poll logs and fingerprint cleanup logs will be here. Like it means a lot of things will be logged here in this particular folder logs. It is not only for Jenkins log, it will be for all. Like suppose if you are polling some particular Git repository, and we are going to store that particular log into some folder, so that folder will be here. Now main thing is the jobs. So all your jobs will be stored as a XML file. So this folder should contain the jobs, but currently I don't have any jobs now. So because of that, it is not showing any jobs. Let me see my instance is up or not. Where is that testing? Oh shit, still the same issue. Okay, do you have access to your machine now? You can access to the particular thing, right? Hello.
Access to my machine.
Yeah, do you have access to your machine now? Right?
Yes.
So we can access to that particular Jenkins folder. Okay, Jenkins machine, and you can check this Warlib Jenkins jobs folder. So here you can see that XML configuration of your jobs.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Let me check. I'm just taking the remote.
What is the issue with my machine? Don't know. Are you able to log in?
Yes. I'm able to log in and I am able to see the jobs as well.
Yeah, right. So basically, in your day-to-day lives, you will be get this issue. Like if you want to see your jobs content, job configuration, and suppose if you want to create a new jobs, like suppose you want to create 20 jobs which have similar XML or similar configuration, then for
Okay.
that you can use that particular config file and just update some names or Git repositories, and you can create the multiple jobs. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Where Lee Jenkins. Yeah. So you what about the jobs? No?
Right.
There is a workspace. So here you can see that in the workspace I have test. So I was created one job called test, and all the data of this particular job will be here. So all the build data. Suppose I'm building some job. Okay. So all information will be stored inside this particular directory. Value Jenkins
Mhm.
workspace job name in here.
Mhm.
Yeah. I guess now I can access my machine. No. What is the issue? I'm saying I just restart it. It was working fine earlier once I installed those plugins. No? I guess the plugins are the main issues. Last time also I faced same issue when I used those plugins, dark theme. Let me remove those things. And suppose if you want to remove the particular plugin, then it is not a good way to remove this thing in production. Okay, you have to take permission from your manager. I think you're already manager, so you don't have to worry. Generally, like I want to, I installed some theme plugin, right? And I want to remove those things. So once you see, want to remove this thing, I can directly remove dark thing on JPA material theme. So I also last in the previous time also I faced this issue when I installed this particular themes. Now I'm getting this issue. Log in my machine. Feature restart Jenkins, and you can easily restart Jenkins. And do you know where to check Jenkins logs if it's not working? How to debug it?
No.
Okay, so you have to go to where log Jenkins. So there is a folder called where log Jenkins. So here generally you will get some information in this particular folder where log Jenkins. So currently there are no logs. So fine. Hopefully, yeah. Right. Yeah, now it is working fine. So as I said, the theme of the issue. So sometimes this thing also happens. So if you install some plugins, so it will affect your Jenkins sometimes. So I'll always install the plugins which have good voting and which are not deprecated. Okay, so that is a lesson for you. So now I'm going to create a new job like test one, freestyle job. Create it.
Yes.
Yeah, and add a build type like execute ls pwd apply save. So once I created it, just go to the value Jenkins and go to the jobs. Here you can see that it created this folder. You go inside. If you see here, you can see that there is a config.xml. So config.xml, if you cat this thing, you can see that here we can see ls command is there, right? We have written the same thing in your job configuration, right? If you go to config, go here ls and pwd. So here it is stored as a XML file. So this is XML file and it is stored here ls and pwd. Okay. So sometimes suppose if you want to copy the same job to another machine, you can just copy this thing XML file. So by default it will copy the same job configuration. Now go to the builds folder. So currently you don't see any build numbers, right? Nothing is here except these two files. This thing you can ignore. These are not that main file. So now, as soon as now I'm going to apply, save. Now I'm going to click build. So here you can see that job has been built. Go here and console output. And here it is running ls and pwd. Now, so pwd means in which folder it is currently working. Okay, so present working directory. So the working directory of the job is the where lib Jenkins workspace and the job name. Okay, so now I'm here where lib Jenkins. If I do ls1, here you can see that the job logs, do catalog. So you can see that whatever we have here, you can see here. Okay, so in the inside test1 build, so it was build number 1. Now suppose I go back, test, go to configure, added some extra thing like echo I am freestyle job, and also I'm going to create a new folder like NKDR my folder. Okay, now I'm going to apply and save. If you create a build now, it will run the specific commands on the Jenkins master. Okay, if you are selecting node, then it will run on that particular node, but currently we don't have any other node, so because of that it's running on the master. Okay, so here you can see that it is giving us some output. Now let's go to that machine, go back to cd. Here you can see that there is a new folder created with the name 2. Okay, because this is the build 2.
Okay.
So now go to ls, same thing, cat log. What you're seeing, whatever we got the output on the screen, same thing has been stored inside this file. Okay, also change log, you can see currently it is empty, so and then build.xml. Okay, so you got now where the all the information regarding related to builds are stored, right?
Right. Got it.
But I don't see any file with this name, folder with name my folder. Why?
Because I think we have not yet integrated it with AWS, right?
No, it is not related to AWS. But here you can see that it is created.
Okay, you created it in the test1, right?
Yeah, means so just remember this part. This is where lib Jenkins workspace. Okay, so whatever you are going to do, it will be inside a workspace, that job name. Okay, so all the commands, whatever you are going to execute, it will be executed in the where lib Jenkins workspace, that job name. Okay, so this will be directory path. But earlier we were inside where lib Jenkins jobs. Here you can see it contains only field information. Okay, but this folder, it is a workspace for your job. Okay, whatever steps you are going to execute, they will be executed inside this particular folder. Just remember one thing. It is means, suppose if you want to debug some jobs, okay, how you are going to debug it? Suppose you're downloading some file, if it is not downloaded, or is it downloaded for some other bit, like now suppose go to the test1 configure, and now I want to create a new folder, like some folder touch my file. Okay, apply, save, click on build. Now go here, you are getting success message. Okay, now go here. Here you can see that here it created some folder, but why this my folder is not been removed? Any idea?
It should be under test1, right?
Yeah, we are still under test1. So we're under test one, and for our test one, what is the configuration? Let me show you. Go to the configure. The configure is like our configuration was mkdir create some folder and create some file. Okay, but we haven't given this thing my folder, but still it is there because yeah, test one. Because what happened na? Last time in the last build it created this thing, some folder. Sorry, this my folder. So that is why it is still there. It is not been removed. So suppose if I use this thing na, build where is that? Yeah, discard old builds. Sorry, not this thing. Where is that? Yeah, delete workspace before build starts. Okay, now I'm clicking this thing. Now I'm going to like folder 3. Okay, folder 3, touch some file. Okay, now I'm going to run it again. Build now. It has been run. Okay, now let's see the output here. If I do ls, here you can see that now this time only we are not getting any extra folder. All the things which are done by last builds will have been cleaned. Okay, all because this was our workspace for that particular job. Okay, because we have selected this thing like clean workspace before building the new job. So that is why all the content of this particular folder has been deleted and our workspace will be clean. Are you getting?
Yes.
Yeah. So it is recommended to clean the workspace when you are building a new job now, because suppose in the last build there were some files that has been downloaded, they will be also copied inside your new job, so it is not good thing. Okay, now this thing is add a timestamp to console output. Like I will show you what is use of this thing. I'm going to run the same job. So observe the output, console output. Here you can see that it has been added some time, right? In the previous build, if you go to previous build, we don't see anything. Okay, but now in the next build, we are seeing this time. Okay, so that it is use of that particular checkbox. Okay. So now if you want to build this job periodically, so if you want to like click on schedule, like if you want to run it after every 1 minute. Okay, so let's give it 1 minute, and here mkdir. So the Linux command. Let's see. There is a command called date na, in Linux. What is the command for date for Linux? I guess date, right? Okay, so we are going to use this command date to create a new folder mkdir. So it is going to create a folder with the particular date and echo. Same thing here, you can use date time created at okay. So it is not so last time you said we are not connected with the AWS. Okay, so it is not anything related to AWS. It is like we have one machine on which we are running our commands. Okay, for our automation we are writing some scripts, and those scripts are running on this machine. Okay, that's it. It is not related to AWS. Suppose if you want to do something related to AWS, what we can do, for that we need some credentials, right? So AWS access key. Okay,
Right.
so we can add that user in this particular machine and then run those commands. Now let's see. Is it running after 1 minute or not? No, it's not running. It should run. Don't know, it is not running. It's 1 minute has been passed since you created the jobs. I guess there is a issue with my Chrome. March 11, 4:16. Okay, it is running after 1 hour. Sorry, 1:15. I don't know the pattern to run it after like 1 minute. Minute, 2, 3, 4. After 1 minute. Okay. So you got it, na? So it will run like after 1 hour. So we want to run it after 1 minute. We want to give it star. Do really means every minute when you say it. Perhaps you want this thing. Okay. So I'm going to save it. So after 1 minute, it will trigger the job. Okay.
Correct.
So you can use this thing like suppose at night you want to shut down your machines, okay, or you want to clean your machines. You can use this job using this pattern. You can create a cron job here. So here you can see that 6 job is automatically triggered. You go here, you do ls. Okay, it is making directory of every word. Okay. So if you go to this space, do ls, here you can see that it's creating this directory. Next time it will fail. 7, 341, 1, 2, 3, 4, 50. Here you can see that save jump has run. So it created new directory. Okay, earlier it was, I guess the history has been lost. Earlier you can see here, go to previous field. It was 54, 15, 41, 00. Now it is 15, 42.00. Okay, now we have to stop this thing, else it will run continuously. So just remove this thing, that's it. Now if you want to trigger the job using some script, okay, my token, so you can trigger it using this syntax. So our Jenkins URL is this thing. You can create some variable also if you want. Jenkins URL is equal to what was the token? My token, right? It is not only I think we have to enable the crumb thing. So it is, authentication required. So here we are getting error because it requires some authentication. Okay, we are not authenticated. If someone from internet is trying to run this URL, okay, or trying to hit this URL, so it will be danger, no? So for that we require some authentication. So we require some parameters here. So let me search on the internet. So give me 1 minute. Oh, the issue is now because my password contains some special character. It is not running. Okay, so there is one more way. So instead of password, what you can do, you can go to your user here, configure and add new token. Testing. You can generate a new token and you can use this for your requests. Okay. No, what is not possible? Here. What is this? Okay, we have to use localhost. Let's see what is localhost 8 Yeah. Go back. Just one. So here you can see that job has been triggered, right? Here you can see that it has been triggered using this thing. Earlier it was not working because I guess it is not taking the IP from the environment. Or I cannot. I have provided only restricted access. Okay, so this IP or this machine cannot access this URL. Okay, but it can access localhost. So it was a networking issue earlier, but now it is working. Or maybe URL was wrong. No, but you got no means you can trigger the job using this curl command, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think we can debug this issue later. So it is not that priority now. Okay, now there is a other way also. Like suppose if you want to trigger this job after one project has been some other project, like my first project. Suppose there is another job with this name, my first project. Okay, and if you want to trigger this once this project has been triggered. Okay, now go to apply, save. Now create a new project with this name, like new item, freestyle job with this project. Okay, go below, execute the shell, ls. Now observe one thing. Go to our test job. Here you can see that there are currently only 8 build. Okay, so once now we are building this particular project. It has been built. Go back. Here you can see that the 9th job has been triggered. Why? Because this thing has been triggered. Okay, and we have added this hook here in the configure. We have added this thing. Trigger only if build is stable. Build is stable means it should be succeeded. Okay, now suppose this job has been failed. So we add like some command which is not available and run this thing. Here you can say it is failed, right? But
Right.
if you go to the first job and go to test one, you don't see any new jobs. Why? Because the condition was trigger only if build is stable. Build is stable means that job should be succeeded. So it was not succeeded. So that is why it has not been triggered. What if we add this thing? If build is unstable. Okay. Now I apply, save. Now build now. So it is again failed. Okay. Now go back and see. Triggered or not? Not now. Trigger if the build is unstable. Why it is not running? Not no, it is not running. Let's see. We configure if we succeeded. Let's see this triggering or not. Now go back. It is triggering. I guess we have to delete the job or create again something like that. We have to do it. To make it successful. No. Okay, I guess you have to delete the job and again we have to create it. Then only it will work. Okay, I'll go to new items. Test 3. Freestyle job. Okay. Build after build. My first project. Now trigger even if the build is unstable. Now first apply build now. Go back. I don't know why it is not triggering. Okay, I guess unstable is a different thing and fail is a different thing. Now it will trigger. Yeah, now it's triggering. If the job is failed, now it is triggering. Okay, I guess The unstable is different thing than the build fail. Okay, but you got it, na? There are multiple ways how we can trigger. We can trigger from script. You can trigger after one job has been succeeded or failed. Or you can trigger periodically. Okay, after some minutes or some interval. Also, there is a extra things like suppose we are committed to a particular Git repository and we want to run this job. That thing we also do. You can do it, but for that you have to add some hook. Okay, so we are going to see that thing in a multi-branch pipeline job. Okay, not now. Now there is a one way. There is a way we can clean our workspace before build can be started. Okay, so we can use this thing. Also, we can add timestamp to our console output if you want using this thing. Okay. Okay, so you got it now. What is a freestyle job?
Yes, got it.
Yeah. So generally I don't like freestyle job because it provides very limited things. Okay. Suppose if you want to run like some Python script or yes, you can run a Python script, but if you want some more automation, okay, we want to download something and using that particular file, you have to do that thing. It will be very difficult to achieve that thing in the freestyle job. Instead of that thing, we use the pipeline thing. Okay. So now go to new items, click on pipeline, my first pipeline, click on OK. Okay, so here you can see that we have same options here as well. Okay. Okay, now here you can see there is a script box, right? Click here. So we have this pipeline syntax. Okay. So there is a particular way how you have to write the pipeline. Okay, so there are two ways. Okay, so click to go here and go to click on pipeline types. I have written here. So what is pipeline? So in Jenkins, pipeline is a sequence of stages that define series of steps to be executed in a particular order. And pipeline job in Jenkins allow user to define and automate entire software development process from building, testing, and deploying the software. Okay, so are you getting what is pipeline? So pipeline consists of multiple stages which will run one after another. Okay, and you can also run it parallelly if you want. And we use this thing to achieve your automation thing. Like suppose if you want to now build the image, first thing will be clone the repository. That will be one stage. Second thing will be test that particular project. Third thing will be run the SonarQube analysis. Fourth thing will be run or build the image. Okay, so these are the sequence of steps, right? Yeah. So to achieve this thing, use the pipeline syntax. So there are two ways. One is the declarative pipeline. Second is the scripted pipeline. So they have very different syntax. Okay, so here you can see that this is a syntax for the declarative pipeline.
Okay.
Go to pipeline. Let's do these things. My first project. This thing. Go to dashboard. My first pipeline. Go to configure. And once you copy this thing here, now do apply, save, and now run this thing. So it is building. So here you can see that we are seeing some steps: build, test, right? Okay, so this is one stage. This is another stage. Let me show you what this pipeline contains. Okay, so this is the syntax of the scripted. So not scripted, it's a descriptive pipeline. What is it? It is a declarative pipeline. So in the interview, they will ask you what are the different types of pipelines. So you can say that there are multiple types of pipeline like declarative pipelines and scripted pipelines. Okay, so we are now seeing the declarative pipelines. So declarative pipelines is used by beginners, okay, because they think it is very easy. So it is just like your can declare it very easily. Like suppose if you want to run the multiple stages, what the syntax here, there will be a parent of all the stages. Then there will be a curly braces. Okay, inside these curly braces, we have different stages. One stage is build, second stage is test. Okay, so suppose I remove this environment thing. Okay, I'm removing this thing. Agenting, suppose if you don't pass anything, by default it will run on the master. So agent means if you want to run this particular pipeline on the particular node, for that we use the agent. Okay, if you ignore this thing, it will be run on master. Okay, now I'm going to run this thing. Let's see what we have. Build now. So we are getting error. Okay, so missing required section agent. Okay, so we are missing the agent. There is some way by default we can add any means run on any agent. Any, okay, if you pass some label here like CI node, it will run on the worker which has this label applied. Okay, if we apply this like agent CI, so it means run on the node which has this label. Okay, if you give it any, it means run on any node. Okay, and second stage is stages. Inside stages we have multiple stages like build and test. And what you are doing inside this thing, we are just running the shell commands like echo. Okay, build now. Still we are getting error. Why? Yeah, so we are getting because no such a property name. So what I did, I just removed this thing. Earlier we had here environment, right? We had this block here. So this block is used to set some environment variable for your pipelines. If I remove these things, it means these variables are not being defined. Okay, so because of that, this step has been failed because it don't know what's meant by this name thing. Okay, now let's do another experiment. Like suppose remove this thing stages here. I'm not having an environment block. I'm giving home here. Okay, and now run this thing. Apply, save. Now click on build now. Here we are again missing agent any. Go to my first configure. Click on build now. Here you can see that we are not getting we are we haven't. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Hello.
Now it's okay, no?
Yeah. No, yes, it is okay, but why we are not getting any error here now? Because we
Right.
have defined the environment block. Why we are not getting error?
Because we have defined that agent any, right?
No. Means suppose I give here like name one. Okay.
Okay.
I'm giving name one. Going to my first pipeline. Go to apply, save, and now build now. Here we are getting error, and the message is no such a property name for class groovy lang.binding. Okay, But if we give home here, we are not getting any error. Why?
No idea.
Yeah, no idea. Because by default, as I said, some variables has been by default populated as an element variable, like home, Jenkins home, or whatever we have in your in your machine. You can type env. So go here, type env. So by default, you can see that this variables has been populated. Okay, so these are environment variable. So is there any variable with name home? Yes, you can see that it is home. Okay, there is a variable with name user because they are already defined. But if we type here name, it is not defined anywhere, right? So because of that, we have to explicitly define this thing here in our pipeline using this block, environment block. Okay, use this variable as an environment variable. Okay, are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. So is it enough for today or
Yeah,
is
it's
that
enough.
too
I
much?
need to do lots of things. Get mixed up today.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
We'll connect tomorrow.
So yeah, please do the
First, we will. I
practicals.
will also try myself if I need it. Tomorrow we will do the same practice for this all these things.
Okay. Or should we do like build a image this that practical or that tip or what
Yes.
means you want?
Yes.
Means you want to do practice of this thing tomorrow for the
Yes, I
build
want
image
to do
pipeline.
practice tomorrow. I will do with myself as well. If required, then I will take your help as well.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Sure. Okay. Bye then.
Bye. Good night.
Bye. Good night.